MultiVersus is dead. And you know, that really is a damn shame. A game with so much potential to swoop into the platform fighter space and load up its roster with a bunch of really cool characters from the Warner Bros. Catalog, just gone. At the end of May, the 1-year anniversary of the game. It's kinda crazy, and just to be upfront, I am pretty disappointed about how this game turned out. But you know, the warning signs made themselves really apparent from day one of the full launch that this game had some problems, and some very big ones at that. So if you've been paying attention to how this game has progressed in the last year, the announcement that it's shutting down probably didn't come as a huge shock to you. I've been predicting this since even before my first video on it back in July of last year. But man, I so wanted to be proven wrong. I wanted this game to find its footing and live a long life with a long list of characters and stages. It just had too many problems weighing it down from pretty much every angle, and the attempts to fix any of these problems seemed to roll out at a snail's pace or just never existed at all. It felt like the complaints from the community were constantly falling on deaf ears. Dude, you can't just take your game offline for an entire year and bring it back in a worse state with more bugs, less features, and 3 times the monetization than the beta period and expect that to just be okay, you know? Who's making these decisions? Because that was the biggest fuck up of all. The beta was actually fun, even if it wasn't perfect. We just wanted improvements to the system that they already had going. Instead, they deleted the whole thing, started over, and made it worse. That's the first time I've ever seen anything like this happen. It's just really obvious that this was a heavily mismanaged project, a generational fumble, if you will. It had all the potential in the world, but potential is only potential. It takes good leadership to tap into that potential on the scale that MultiVersus needed, and I just don't think it had the right people calling the shots behind the scenes. Like for instance, I always thought there were some questionable character picks over the course of this game's 5 seasons. Big characters in a crossover platform fighter are kind of just, I don't know, really fucking important. They have access to some of the most iconic characters in all of history and didn't touch them. Scooby-Doo? Nah, fuck that guy. Fred Flintstone? Daffy Duck? More like, no, but we got Nubia. You know, Nubia. That iconic character that everyone knows. To be fair, I don't think there's any single character they could have added that would have saved this game anyway. I still think the #1 issue this game faced was its monetization. Like, the monetization was bad, like, really bad. I said it in one of my other MultiVersus videos, but you can't be stingy about gameplay access. It just doesn't work, unless you're like some mobile game crap. Paywalling the roster absolutely defeated this game and left it to rot. How can you expect people to play this game and either grind for a stupid amount of time or spend a stupid amount of money to pay for characters that they might not even like? This was just an insurmountable barrier for most people who were willing to give this game a shot. Just make the characters free, man. I was given the Founders Pack by Warner Bros. During the beta, and so I was able to play all the new characters upon release. And there's characters in this roster that I probably wouldn't have given a chance if I had to fork over money that I actually ended up really loving. I didn't watch or know anything at all about the Gremlins before MultiVersus, but I ended up becoming like a top 50 gizmo during beta. I had so much fun with that little dude, and straight up, I probably wouldn't have if it weren't for the Founders Pack. But do you know how many people might have had a similar experience to me if all the characters had just been free to access? Trying out characters who they might not know anything about and finding out that they really enjoy their moveset, and you know, maybe they'll get so invested into the character that they'll want to buy a skin or two, which is where the real money is made, and maybe even go check out the media that they're from, which leads to more revenue for Warner Bros. It was so over-monetized that most people just didn't even bother. Then it didn't help for a game like Marvel Rivals to come along and promise that all of their playable characters would be free. It showed us that, yeah, this is a viable way to handle your free-to-play game. It was just another nail in the coffin for MultiVersus. I had people argue with me that making all the characters free would be an insanely stupid move and that MultiVersus would lose too much money by doing this, and if that's the case, then I gotta say, then this game had no business being a free-to-play game at all. Charge a standard price, get access to a chunk of the roster, maybe a few cosmetics, and then offer paid DLC for future characters or something like that. Honestly, that probably would have been the way to go, because as we all know now, yeah, the free-to-play thing didn't really work, now did it? Companies like Warner Bros. are basically chasing around a fairy tale by doing this games as a service shit. It worked for like 2 games, while the pile of flops grows by the minute. MultiVersus cost them a fat $100 million. That's money that they probably could have had a better chance of making back by just releasing a retail version. Well, anyway, this game really had issues from top to bottom. But I will say that for me personally, I feel I'm incredibly lucky that I was able to experience this game in the way that I did. That free Founders Pack worked wonders, man. I got to play and enjoy characters in MultiVersus that I would have never even dreamed about. Would not have touched them with a 10-foot pole had I not been granted special access to them, and many of them ended up becoming my mains. The thing about this game was that when they weren't dropping a patch that breaks the game in 2, or trying to get into your wallet at every opportunity, or having server issues, there actually was an enjoyable gameplay foundation underneath it all. It's clear that they had gameplay designers who at the very least knew how to make some fun combat. It wasn't always balanced, it wasn't always good. I mean, hell, it was outright unpolished most of the time, but I will always argue that there was fun to be had with this game. It's just a shame that most people didn't get to see it this way, because as I've already explained, the barrier to entry was astronomically high. It's extra frustrating that this game failed so spectacularly because I could see the potential, and so could many others, and well, now it's over. There's a hashtag going around to save MultiVersus, but, you know, if we take a look at the player numbers, yeah, it's cooked, man. I'm sorry, it's cooked. Warner Bros. Has already expressed interest in shifting their focus back to a handful of their top properties in the gaming space. You don't get to just lose your parent company 100 million smackaroos and expect to keep your kneecaps, so I guess it is what it is. Another live service experiment doomed to the dustbin of time. Luckily, if you're still looking for your platform fighter fix, you have options. Rivals of Aether 2 is an inexpensive game that'll be releasing all of its characters for free. They update the game monthly with new skins and cosmetics, which are the only things that they charge for, and they have a roadmap for content that'll be hitting the game in the future. There's no FOMO shit. All skins and events are permanently available, and on top of it all, it just feels so good to play, man. I'll still put my neck out for Nick Brawl 2 as well. The online is pretty much barren now, but the single-player roguelike mode is still worth checking out. It's miles better than the PvE content in MultiVersus. And if none of those games spark your interest, well, get this. We are 7 years removed from the last Smash Brothers game. I can't fucking believe that. It feels like just yesterday they revealed King K. Rool, and I was creaming my jeans. So we're probably not too far off from a new one, and that'll surely absorb the platform fighter space for a while. Well, I guess this is it. MultiVersus, I don't think I can really say you were a great game. Not sure I can even really say you were a good one. But even with all your issues, I did have fun for a little while at least. Until I didn't, but you know, what can you do? Kinda crazy that it's just gonna fade out. Gone forever. It's a sad fate, but a permanent reminder and blueprint for how not to handle a live service game. Seems we have a lot of those. GG, MultiVersus. Holy Jesus, thank God that's over. Look, I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys. I did not have fun making this video at all. It has nothing to do with being sad that MultiVersus is going away or whatever, no. No, this was just not a fun video for me. I think I just need to, like, change up my approach to how I make gaming content or something, because my God, I dragged my feet on making this video so fucking hard. It took me way longer than it should have to even get this done, and, well, you know, I think I just need to change up my mindset with how I approach YouTube in general. If it's not fun, for me, then, you know, why am I doing it? I made this video purely out of an obligation, or at least a perceived obligation. You know, I made 2 videos talking about the state of MultiVersus last year. I felt like I had to finish it off, and here it fucking is. Here it is. Sorry if the editing felt kind of a little like crap for this one. I was not having fun! So I gotta change up my approach. I gotta figure out how to make making gaming content fun for me again, so that way, you know, it feels good. It feels good to do this stuff. I've been working on some videos for my shitpost channel again. It's been a little while, and I've just been having a lot of fun over there, you know, getting to stretch my legs creatively again. There's been a creative itch in my brain that I haven't been able to scratch by just making gaming content. Gaming content can be fun. I like games. I like talking about games. I like playing games, but again, something about the way I'm doing this is not working for me right now, and I just gotta figure out what that is, switch it up. So I don't know what's gonna happen here. Not sure what the future holds, but I'm gonna try to do some different things for future videos on this channel. You know, maybe occasionally when there's something that I really want to talk about, I can get on here and do a little discussion or whatever the case is. But otherwise, I don't know. Maybe I gotta make the gaming content more shit posty over here too. Because hey, what can I say? That is fun. It's fun for me, and I'm sure it's probably fun to watch too. So I don't know. Fuck it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Goodbye.